And it's time for our big report. It's where we delve into the major stories impacting our nation. And today we focus on consumer rights protection in Nigeria, specifically addressing the issue of poor service delivery by electricity distribution companies, or as we call them, DISCOs, which tops the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission's complaint chart for the entire year. Now, in a recent media briefing held in Abuja, the FCCPC revealed that complaints about DISCOs have surpassed all other categories. And so News Central's Joshua Imarayi was there to capture the details. And here's his report from this week.
Well, we'll bring you that report in a minute, but to gain more insight into this is Joshua Imarayi as he joins us live via video chat. Joshua, thank you very much for joining us, Joshua.
Good morning, Mazino. Good morning, Judith.
Thank you very much. So, Joshua, let's get to it now. What were the key highlights of the FCCPC's media briefing regarding consumers and their complaints?
Well, the press briefing in Abuja started with the acting executive chairman of the commission informing press and media men that the commission will be expecting its new executive chairman that was newly appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the former EC, who is former now, informed us of his intention of briefing the media of his 7 months activity that the commission went on during his tenure as the acting executive chairman of the commission. So it was just like a travel through his activity when he was there, and he started with a note of how they were partners and development partners who funded some of their programs and supported some of their programs too, and how it led to the conviction of somebody in Lagos who was responsible for inciting, mass inciting against the commission. And even he went on to talk about the things with Meta, on how they monitored Meta for close to 3 years before the fine of $220 million was slammed against Meta. And they even said that they have evidence to prove their claim is valid, as well as going forward to talk about the prices control, how they carried out sting operations, and how they've investigated some of these shops as well as supermarkets who have engaged in 1 or 2 price juggling and the likes. And even one of the major things the commission chairman said was how the complaints about electricity service stopped their charge of complaints received in the commission, and how they even initiated a program. He went on further to say that the regulation of these things is not in their legal area of coverage, but rather the particular commission responsible, the NERC, has only the constitutional right to prosecute or to punish offenders. However, that the commission is still resolved to giving an assurance of consumers and customers in Nigeria quality service delivery and what for their money.
I have to ask, right? Can you give us specifics? Was the commission able to give specifics in terms of the complaints that the consumers raised against the DISCOs during the press briefing?
Well, the commission, the former acting executive chairman of the commission, did not really go into details, but it is well known that those specifics are in the media spaces. But we learned as much as one of News Central's correspondents who covers the energy sector tried getting reactions from the NERC, but they are not forthcoming to the media space. That's quite some challenges we've been experiencing there. But however, a recent penalty code was issued by the NERC that whenever a DISCO overcharges you, you will be punished. And they set some ground rules in place that, for instance, if DISCO overcharges you, they will lose 10% of their allowance for that year, and you still get the refund. And they even went on to say if the overcharge is more than 20%, the customer affected in pressing we get a refund, and the person who is in charge of that transaction will be relieved of these duties. Now, this is one of the few policies they are putting in place to ensure that customers get the worth of their money. But however, it has not come to the limelight of how many people has been caught wanting and has been punished so far. But we will still be monitoring the entire thing and give an update to the entire situation.
Joshua, I was going to say earlier that we extended an invitation to the NERC, and they said that they would not be commenting at this time because we understand that either the House had asked that that they reverse the price of the electricity tariff back to the usual price if they were not going to continue in distributing. I think that's what it is. Well, we did extend an invitation to them, but they declined to comment at this time. And just to affirm what you said earlier. Now, you also made mention that the FCCPC said that their own job is just to address these complaints. But I have to ask, how effective have been, the measures of them, addressing these complaints? To just put out this information, put out press release, say this and that.
Are there any penalties?
And just say nothing else.
This electricity issue and customer service delivery, I think they've held two complaint resolution committee meeting. They held one in Lagos earlier this year, and that has been one of the impressive interventions they've made in these issues. But beyond that, I don't really think they have made so much effort aside addressing this complaint, referring them to the appropriate person in charge for regulation, and even if there is a need, punishment. It's just the information about it is not really well known. But however, I expect that the new executive chairman of the commission will do more in that aspect to bring these things to light and to carry out more efforts to address these issues and complaints.
Joshua, we've been talking about things from the side of the FCCPC. What about the consumers? Do consumers know that they actually have such a platform for complaints? Are they taking this advantage to make their grievances heard when it comes to whatever it is that they consume or utilize? Do the masses know that this platform exists, and are they using it?
Few Nigerians understand that they have the right to express their dissatisfaction of this services rendered by these schools and some businesses in Nigeria. Few Nigerians know that they have that obligation to voice out in case you are experiencing such maltreatment by one who is providing you a service or a product. You have the right to the legal right and the legal backing to voice out. Few Nigerians know. And even among the few Nigerians that know, some of them feel this is just another due process that you have to go through to voice out your complaints, for them to address it. They feel that at some point in time, while filing your complaint or voicing your complaint out, you might need an embargo or a deadlock. Most Nigerians, now when you go to the street, ask them, most Nigerians, all they have to say is, it's just another case of government and civil service. There's this established kind of bureaucracy and red tapeism in voicing out complaints. And few Nigerians know. But however, that is why the FCCPC was brought in. Now, if the FCCPC could handle these complaints effectively and even go on a mass enlightenment for public individuals and Nigerians, I think they will know. Now, basically, the major amount of people who talk about FCCPC are those who live in the urban areas. Now, when you go to the rural areas, for instance, settlement communities and sometimes villages, they are not aware that such a commission exists. They aren't, because of the activities of the consumer rights protection is majorly on TVs and newspaper. Now we must accept to the fact that there are people who don't watch these things. There are people who don't read these things. How do we carry them along in this process of complaining about their rights being abused during the providing of services or the buying of products? So it is another limitation that the Commission might experience. And I feel that this should be one of the priorities, the top priorities of the executive chairman, of the new executive chairman of the Commission. He should address these things and see how a mass enlightenment can go on in the country at once to bring people up to the speed that, yes, there is a commission, particularly saddled this responsibility to address your complaints and to see that you are giving a good worth of your money.
I do know that there's a couple of brands I would like to report, especially that bank. There's one bank like this I want to report. The thing is paining me. Anyway, well, Joshua, many thanks. We appreciate you for shedding light on this critical issue and also for your report from earlier the week. And we do hope to see improvements in our electricity and power. But hey, what do we know? We're just journalists doing our job. Again, Joshua, many thanks.
Thank you, Joshua.
It's a pleasure.